My name is Mobeena, and I'm a foster carer. And I'm mother of three teenagers, and now I've got a child. When people ask me how many children you have, I say four. I don't say three anymore. I say two boys, two girls. That's all I say, because he's been with me nearly 3 years, so he's my another child.
Right.
So people can't really tell because we've come from same background. So some people are, oh, he looks like you, and I just smile and move on. I don't correct them. Now, so he's like my fourth child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm the fifth child. As Wajid, I help, obviously, Mina's the main carer, and I assist. I'm the secondary.
Yeah, he helps me. Well, he helps me quite a lot.
Yeah, so I work full time as well, and this was a joint decision that was brewing for about 13 years to foster. Initially, about 13 years prior to fostering, we did the assessment. We spoke about this at the panel. That we did the assessment, and when we came home after the second week of training, which was quite intense, mind you, we decided as a couple that we weren't just ready, because you have to be 100% ready.
My children were very young that time.
They were very young, yeah. So when you get into any form of care, you have to understand that you have to give it 110%. You have to be ready. Your family have to be ready, and the surrounding needs to be ready. And at that point, we weren't ready. And going back about 3.5, 4 years ago, we both looked at each other and we said, "Look, I think we're ready now. You know, we've got the love, we've got the time, we've got the space in the house. We can do it." And I think it's amazing, and we made a good decision, definitely, 100%.
And like you said, faith comes in. I think for me, I lost my mom. And then I decided I wanted to do good deeds. You want to do good deeds. Your parent passed away. You're going through some hard time, and the satisfaction you get by doing good deeds. So then I decided, I should look into fostering, because helping children is the best thing you can do, because these are vulnerable children and they need our help. So then suddenly I gave him an idea. I said, we were thinking to do fostering years ago. We can do it now. And that's like helping children as well. And then he agreed and we just jumped in.
Pre-COVID it was. Everything was done over Zoom. I remember having 22 or 24 hours worth of interviews over Zoom with our she was assessor, so to speak. And when we first met her, it was amazing, because it was that love relationship that we've had over the laptop. And there was a lot of interviews, a lot of questions, rightly so, because you have to make sure that they are the right carers that come into the field. You don't want to put one vulnerable child into another vulnerable situation. So I'm glad that, especially, I know that Hillingdon do, but do the right checks and thorough checks, because once you're passed, like I'm the operations manager at Heathrow Airport, so I know for me to get my blue ID, thorough checks are done, because we're all over. So I'm glad that the checks are done. Yeah.
Some people find those checks, quite intrusive. And were you expecting that level of scrutiny? And often there's lots of conversations about how you were brought up and your views on parenting, how you parent.
I knew a bit already, because my sister's been fostering. She was fostering already. So I've spent time with her foster children as well. So I knew what I was getting into. So in a way, I think I was ready, because I saw my sister doing fostering for 13 years. And I've seen all those things. I don't know, maybe I'm like an open book. So maybe that's why I wasn't that worried that if anyone.
Yeah, some of the questions, they can be like, obviously, one question will be asked 5 times in 5 different ways, and obviously, one would think, oh, what they're trying to get at, but the assessor's just trying to do their job. They're making sure that your partner are the right people and right individuals to foster, because, like I said earlier, we don't want to put a vulnerable child into another vulnerable situation.
Absolutely.
So everything needs to be ticket-to-do. The I's need to be crossed, and the I's need to be dotted, rather, and the T's need to be crossed. But yeah, it was really not intense, should I say? But yeah, you can feel it. You do feel it.
Yeah, you do feel it, but to be honest, I thought if my children is going into someone's house, I want my child to be safe.
Yeah.
So of course, children's they need to be safe. So these checks, I think they should be done.
Yeah. Yeah. I was also going to ask you about your children as well, because you had 3 children who were, well, they sort of not little children, but they were a bit bigger. What did they think about fostering, and were they part of that assessment?
Yeah, they were actually, like I told you, my sister has been fostering, so they knew what fostering is. They literally grew up seeing my sister with foster children, and a few of the foster children she had, my children were very close to them as well. My daughter became best friend with one of the child and everything, so they knew already. And when I spoke to them, and I did like discuss with them that I want to do fostering and what do you think, and they gave me their views. And then we spoke to them. I think my children, only thing they said they wanted young child, like, and because my youngest one that time she was 15, isn't it? So she said, "Mommy, anyone under 12." So I think they wanted kind of younger sibling type of thing, and that's another reason I think I had done the best decision, because the child I've got now, he is getting love from everyone, because my 3 children, they adore the child, because it's like we had a jigsaw puzzle and that part was missing and has completed us. So they did have an assessment and they gave their views and they filled forms as well.
And what Hillingdon, I know Hillingdon do.
Yeah.
I'm only going to speak about Hillingdon. Is they make sure that you and your children are comfortable.
Yeah.
They put you guys first.
Definitely.
That are your children okay for you to foster? They'll speak with the children if they have to. They'll speak to you again. Are your children happy with this? Are your children happy with this change? And the support network that you receive.
Amazing.
The support network that we receive from Hillingdon, it has been amazing. From all levels, from the assessor to our supervising social worker to the director of Hillingdon, who's dealing with cat. They've all been amazing.
Even, when they call you that they've got a child, they don't just dump the child on you or anything. They call you and they say, "We are giving you that time. Speak to your children, speak to your family, and then let us know." They just don't say, "Oh, you have to take that child in." No, they give you all the time, and then you discuss with your family. If you're comfortable, then you call them back. "Yeah, I'm ready," and then the process starts.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I like about Hillingdon, because I've seen my sister. I know she finds it very hard sometimes, because they just say, "No, you have to. We have got nowhere to go. You have to." But with Hillingdon, they do take your, I would say, family in consideration as well and everything.
She works for an agency, so we've seen it throughout the years that the pressures they put on her, and they didn't really consider her daughter. And obviously now she's a social worker herself, and
Yeah.
she's a level 7, and she's done a level 7. She works for the courts and she advises. She's the right hand person to the judge, so to speak. She advises on the laws and etc. And she's done that throughout the years. So I think when you're working for the borough, especially be it Hillingdon, Barnet, etc., they will consider yourself and your family first.
We don't know about other ones, but we know about Hillingdon that they do.
I'm just guessing.
We can't say about other councils, but I worked with Hillingdon, so I can say that they do. Or I always say I've been very lucky. I had good social workers with me as well.
Makes a massive difference.
Yeah, because it's a new experience, isn't it? Having sort of social workers so involved in your life, and your door is opened in a way that it isn't for another family, isn't it? You've got lots of people coming in and out.
In and out, you got your social worker, you got the child social worker, IRO. You've got the school team contacting you. You got various. Then you go to the doctors. You go to the dentist. You go to this department. But there was a lot of learning. We had a, so to speak, a difficult case initially. I'm not going to go too much into it, but we had a lot of learnings.
A lot of
We
learnings.
were up all night reading files, reading documents, just educating ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, it was being back at school again.
But
Because,
like I said, I had time as well.
yeah,
I had time to give, and maybe that's the reason I got through it, because I had lots of time as well.
yeah,
My children were in their teens, and I had lots of time and energy, because I still consider myself very young. So I had energy as well, so I could do it. So everyone is different. I wouldn't say what I've done, everyone can do, because everyone's different.
definitely.
Yeah. So but some people find that quite intrusive, though, having so many professionals. You know, you prior to being a foster carer, you've got a real level of autonomy over your household. You can do what you want, go when you want, where you want, you know, within the realms of the law. But then immediately become a foster carer, often people sort of, it's quite a shift, isn't it? To do, you have to ask permission. You know, if you wanted to go away for the weekend, you have to. And I don't want to be I'm not trying to be kind of cast negative ideas about fostering, but I just think that sometimes that shift can be quite difficult for some people, or quite a
It
shock.
depends. It depends on your sport network as well.
Right.
I think people who haven't got that their sport network, then they might find it difficult. Like with us, we had to go on pilgrimage in June. We went for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So I told them, and of course, I had people at home. My kids, they are, like I said, my eldest is 21 and youngest is 18. So you can see the age difference. And then my father and mother, they live with us as well. So it's that, I think, because I've got a lot of help at home. So maybe that's why for us it becomes easy.
Yeah, and even if you don't have your personal help, Hillingdon offer a buddy scheme as well.
Yeah, buddy
So
scheme.
they're buddying you up with other couples or other carers. So you can bounce off each other, be it information, be it, oh, okay, I'm going out for a couple hours here. Do you mind look after the little one, etc. So that buddy scheme is good. But also, what people don't understand is, coming back to what you just said, your house is totally different because you're letting other people in. You could have a monthly spot check, yeah. So that supervisor walk in unannounced and say, knock on the door, say, come and do a check. But that's good. That's to protect the child, you know. And normally people don't like that because obviously, us being British, we like to be told when someone, all right, you coming next week? All right, I'll pencil that in the diary, you know, and the house will be clean. And when you have people coming unannounced, we're not used to it. But that's something that you have to get used to. But that's good.
I think you do get used to it. It's just, I think, first year, then you're just used to. You go with the flow.
We're 30 years on now, and
it's been 3 years.
for 3 years, it's been amazing. You know, I was speaking to Hillingdon this morning, a lovely lady, head of fostering there, and we were speaking about stuff, and you know, we were thinking that should we foster another one? My eldest is 21. I haven't seen him in 3 years properly because he's away at university. Will he be back? Will he not? You know, we've enjoying this. Are we ready? Are we not ready? You know, these are the questions that go through our mind.
But secondly, you need to think as well, the child we've got, we don't want the child to be disturbed as well by getting another child in. So at the moment, that child is my priority.
100%.
If the child is comfortable, then I'll take another one in. Otherwise, I won't.
You have to, obviously, any child that comes into the house now, we have to make sure that the child that we have, how will he react? Because like anything, we all have that jealousy kind of factor in. It's normal.
And he does get, because he's the youngest at the moment and everybody loves him.
Yeah.
And any other child comes in, and I do know that he does feel that, hey, quickly, he won't leave me, or he'll be just like a glue. Yeah. So we don't give attention to any other child at home.
Yeah. So and sorry if I may add, like for example, when we were young, especially myself, I'm tripping here, tripping there, bit of a graze here, graze there. But when you have a child in care with you, everything needs to be written down. This is another thing that we had to make changes to. You know, if my boy who's 21 now, you know, he's playing in the party at a bit of a graze, I'll be like, oh, okay, off you go, son, no problem.
Yeah.
It's all well, but everything needs to be documented. It's the world.
Documented,
It's the world we live in. You know, so that's something that we had to get used to 3 years ago. And I know if he just slipped in the park or he's got a bit of a graze, whatever, just document it. That covers yourself. That's good for the child. So it just making sure that everything's documented. Weekly, the daily reports you do.
Daily reports I do, yeah.
Mobeena does a daily report.
There's lots of paperwork. Like I said, it takes for its first year you find difficult, and you get used to these things.
Yeah, it's like everything's documented.
It becomes your second nature then.
Yeah. So a lot of documentation in mind.
Well, yeah, like you said that, but it's not your child, so that kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think what you said at the beginning, Mobeena, about if it was my child going into someone's house, I'd want to know everything. I want every single thing to be written down. And so you have to sort of turn that around and go, well, I'm going to be that person for this child.
100%.
Yes, empathy.
We're just trying to point out that to especially the listeners now, that don't be that's not negative. That and making sure everything's documented, it's also in your benefit. It covers you.
Yeah.
Because the world we live in, you know. So we're very used to this now. If anything happens, thank God, and nothing's happened so far. We document everything. If we go anywhere, for example, if we're leaving London and we're going Lake District, for example, we will notify. We're going to let them that we're going to Lake District. This is the hotel we're staying in. This is the nights that we were staying there, and then etc. So it's good that they know, you know, and things like that. It's measure in place that make sure it all circulates around the child's safety. That's what it just boils down to. Make sure the child's safe.
Yeah. So people often think, when they think about fostering, or they sort of they're looking into fostering, they have an expectation that sometimes the children's behaviour might be difficult. Children have come from difficult circumstances, experienced all kinds of less than ideal things, as putting it nicely. So in terms of supporting children's behaviour, what training did you get, and what's been your experience of kind of, because they're not your children, they've not grown up in your world, so sometimes there's lots of differences in how they expect parents to be or foster carers to be.
You do get a lot of training from Hillingdon. Then what happens, you know, if you've got a particular child with particular needs or problems, and they do take that in consideration, and then they give you those type of trainings as well. I did a lot of training, different trainings. When my current child came in, like I said, that was a very difficult he came from a very difficult situation. So they gave me a training. I worked with the maps. They taught me how to deal with things. And it did help me quite a lot.
Yeah.
And on the hub, the amount of training that's available for foster carers on the hub as well, it's amazing. You know, and you just have to pick up that phone or reach out to your social worker, supervisor, social worker, and say, listen, I need this help, I need this training, or there's a question I have here, can you help me with that?
Yeah.
And we've 99.9% of the time it's all been answered. The help is on hand. They're there to help you. You're working together.
You know, sometimes I used to call my social worker. She's not with Hillingdon anymore. She was with me for 2 years. In the beginning, I used to call her 3-4 times a day. And never, ever I felt like that she's getting fed up or she's not happy. She will always answer me very patiently.
Yeah.
And she was a big sport. I think because of her, I absolutely loved it. Learning. She taught me that you can learn at any age. And fostering is about learning as well, because when you do these trainings, you are learning a lot of emotions. You're learning a lot of things. Honestly, there are so many mental, I would say, about mental health, physical health even. You learn a lot through these trainings. And I love learning anyway, through reading, through watching things. So for me, I enjoyed this because I like learning, and luckily I had a good social worker, so she knew I like these things. So she was putting me in every training, and then I used to discuss with her. So like I said, I've been lucky with my social workers as well.
Yeah, definitely. And when you start fostering, especially, and if you do it as a couple, uh, it's just like having your own child. Like, for example, if I come back from work about how day's work, and I know Mobeena's been at home with the little one, I'll take over. I'll take him out to the park. We go have a kickabout. We'll have a walk. I'll give her some time. So it's just exactly like having your own children that you know, you look after someone else's children or child, and you're trying to give them a safe environment and hopefully a better future.
But like I always say, if you've got time and love, then do it. Otherwise, don't do it,
100%.
because you do need to give time to that child.
Well, you sort of answered my last question. Really was, if people are thinking about fostering and they've got questions, what do you recommend people do? Obviously, you're like an infomercial for Hillingdon. You're kind of Team Hillingdon, which is fantastic to hear, actually, because you hear so many. You don't often hear people sort of ringing the praises of their agency, but it's really encouraging to hear you say that. But in terms of what would you encourage people to do? What are the messages you would give to people who are thinking of fostering? What should they do?
And I always say, if you've got time, then do it. And if you've got love to give, do it. But if you haven't got time, you're already struggling, then don't do it, because the child you're going to get is coming from a difficult situation. Otherwise, that child wouldn't be there if the child had easy life. So
Yeah.
you need to give that time. If you're giving your child 10 minutes, you need to give that child 15 minutes, because that child need extra care, extra time, extra love.
Absolutely. And I would encourage, especially all the listeners here, that if you can, you've got a spare room in a house. It doesn't matter if you're renting the house, if it's a council house, or if you own the house. It doesn't matter. Get in touch with your local authority, or get in touch with Hillingdon. We at Hillingdon at the moment, I know Emma, our assistant director over there, she's come up with a great initiative at the moment. I think we're the only borough that's doing it in terms of the enhance. I know money was never the reason why we started fostering.
No, I was going to say, if you want to do it for money, please don't do it.
Yeah, but what they've done, they understand that we're living the time that we're living with Section Extra. They've got great initiatives in terms of help towards your energy bills, help towards your council tax. They've got premium Merlin passes for the whole family. That's not just the
Only
foster
under
child,
18-year-old,
but the whole family. They've got help towards your leisure cards, activities. They've enhanced the money that you get to foster. Like we spoke about earlier, it's never it's not the money.
No, it's not about money,
but they've enhanced it just to encourage to get more foster carers within the borough, because what's happening is children are going out to other places where they're not getting love and care. What we would like is children to go to homes where the love and care is provided. So that's what we're trying to encourage, more foster carers to come forward. So we as foster carers know that the love that goes into having this child or this young person in your house, and that's what we want. We don't want them to go into a YMCA where they're sitting in a room by themselves and the love's not there. We want them to have a one-to-one love and affection and come into a family. And we want that family to embrace them. Hence why Emma's come up with this amazing initiative within the borough. And I'm telling you what, I'm saluting her here. She's really, really set the bar high. So, yeah, well done to her.
Excellent.
But like I said, if you've got time and love, don't think about anything else.
No, but I think it's
all things help you. Of course, money helps you and all those things, but still, if you've got time and love, then do it, because that will make you a better foster carer.
I think the in terms of the energy bills, in terms of council tax, they understand at the moment the energy, the gas and electric is going crazy out the roof. So helping towards even a 500 or £1,000 towards a year towards the gas and electric bill is a big help for some families, because we are struggling we in terms of recession, and and we want people to come forward. We want carers to come forward, potential carers to come forward and say, listen, I've got room, I've got a box room, I've got a room, I've got some time. Me and my husband, we're retired, or we haven't got a job, we're not doing much, or we're working, whatever. Let's try
By each to their own, but we didn't do it for that.
We didn't do it with the money, but I
think it's
still,
I was going to say. So I was going to say, I think it's really interesting because we're kind of dancing around the money, but actually people need money to live. And what's wrong with people like getting rewarded for looking after vulnerable children? It's kind of, no one should be out of pocket.
My thing is, if you're only going to think about money into it, then you won't be able to give that much love and time to that child. So think that side as well. It's not always about money. Yeah, like I said, money does help, but you need to think about the child.
Yeah,
child should be first, and then money should be secondary.
Al's right, and you're right. I'm not.
No, I do.
I want dinner. I want dinner tonight, Al. So I'm going to be.
No, money. Like I said, money does.
I know what you're saying.
It's a bonus. It's definitely a bonus.
Yeah.
But when I started, people said to me, "Go with agency and everything." But I said, no, I will just go. It's not about money. It's me helping. It was a reward for my mom as well. I need to do good deeds. So my version was different. It was narrow, and I never needed that.
Mobeena wanted to especially do it for the spiritual side and the religious side of it. And I think that's really helped her as well. Yeah. She wanted to give it back. I wanted to do it because I like to help the community. We're always doing things locally. We're doing tea for the elderly soon, where we get elderly people coming to the house from the borough that we never met.
No, I've been doing voluntary work for years.
Yeah,
I always work with charities, so maybe that's why.
Yeah,
I like charities.
And it's not, and I think a lot of people, they want to give something back, and they get, like you say, they reach a point in their lives where they feel like, well, actually, I've got time, I've got space, and now I can do that. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't be financially. It shouldn't cost them to do that at the very minimum.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, my family goes to me, you're doing this tea for the elderly. We want to sponsor it. I said, we want to sponsor a couple of scones, for God's sake, But it was a nice gesture.
Yeah,
but I said, no, it's fine. I can go to the supermarket and get a couple of scones and a pint of milk. It's not a problem. But it's not the scones. It's not the croissants. It's the time. Again, you're with the elderly. You're having a bit of a chin wag. You're listening to the stories. They love it. Absolutely love it. It's great.
Like I used to do volunteer work. Then I started fostering. So I stopped my volunteer work because I wanted to concentrate on fostering. So now I think the child is settled in well. So I started volunteer work again. So I said, I've got time. So any extra time I get, I try to do something.
She has me doing it as well.
Of course, he supports me.
Well, and you're a wise husband, so you do as you're told. So it's been absolutely wonderful speaking to you, and you've been absolute wonderful advocates for fostering and for Hillingdon as well. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you in the future sometime.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely talking to you.